Let's start solve this question. Okay, Bismillah. We have here number 36, which is yes, guys, we have here the integral from 0 to pi of x plus x cosine x. Okay, I think that we did this exam yesterday as a classwork, but I'd like to solve it quickly. We can write it as the integral from 0 to pi of x cosine x dx, and then plus the integral from 0 to pi, and this here of cosine of x cosine x dx. Okay, the first part is so easy here, so no need. Yes, this part is easy, but the second part is also easy, but you have to do it by using it by parts, integrating it by parts. So I will quickly name it I, and I will find the value of this I, which is the integral from 0 to pi of x cosine x dx by letting the u and dv. We will say that, yes, if the u is equal to, if the u equals to أكيد x, okay, so we have the dv is equal to cosine x dx. Then the derivative here, the du is 1. Okay, 1 what? 1 dx, sure, 100%, because the derivative of x is 1. Okay. And then we're gonna find شباب the integral of the dv, which is v equal the integral of cosine. We know all that it's sine x. So using the u and the v and the dv and substitute and the du and substitute in the integration by parts formula, the integral of uv minus the integral of v du. Integral of v du. So you should substitute. Yes, the u here is x, and you have the v, which is sine x, minus the integral of v du. So the integral of sine x and the du is equal to dx. So the question finished, but don't forget that we have another part here. So for this part only, our solution, our answer in this part is x sine x minus the integral of sine is negative cosine times the negative will be like this, yani cosine x, positive cosine x. We will take this value, which is the value of I, the value of I, and then write it here for I only. So we can name this part is 1 and return it back to step number 1. We can find the derivative of x. Okay, the derivative of what? Of x. So simply it's x squared over 2, which is half x squared, and this from 0 to pi, and then plus x sine x, and then plus cosine x, and this also from what to what? Yes, from 0 to pi. Yeah, let's integrate here. As the substituting half pi squared, okay, and then minus 0. I will not write it. Okay, and then we have here by substituting by pi first, so we have pi sine pi, okay, plus cosine pi, okay, and then you should substitute here by 0 because it's trig functions, and you know cosine or sine 0 gives a value like what? Cosine 0. So we have here 0 cosine 0, which is 0, and we have cosine, yes, we have here cosine what? Okay. We have also here, guys, cosine 0, which is gonna give us here minus cosine 0 minus cosine 0. And cosine 0, it has a value which is 1. So we have to take it in our consideration. Yes. Don't say that 0, so we will omit, guys. So we have 1 over 2 pi squared. Okay, and then pi sine pi. Sine pi is what? Sine pi is 0. So 0 times anything is 0. So this is equal to 0. And cosine pi is negative 1. Okay, and cosine 0 is equal to 1. So negative 1. And again here, minus 1, negative 2. So this all is equal to 1/2 pi r squared minus 2. This was the first question, number 36. And this is the full answer of your question, number 36.
Mister,
Yes.
sorry, but
Raise your voice, please.
Mr. half x squared, Mr.
Yes,
How
half
did we
x
get it?
Half x squared, Omar, this part, the integral of this part, because I divided my question into 2 parts. The first one, the integral from 0 to pi of x, cosine x, of x only. Okay, and then of x cosine x, so there is not sine x here. Of x only, Mister. Understood?
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Like this. Okay, so the first part here, which is the integral of x, which is x squared over what? Oh, and then I took the second part, I named it I, and then I found the integral by using by parts here. Okay, let's move on, guys, to next question, number 37, right? Was also a classwork, number 37. Oh, 38. Yes, who solved this question, guys?
I solve it, teacher.
Abdelaziz, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, teacher, first we take u as ln x squared plus 1.
So we can take here what? Yes.
U as ln x squared plus 1.
Okay, so we will do here this question. We will evaluate this integral by parts.
Yes.
By parts. Okay. So the first thing here, the u is?
Ln x squared plus 1.
The u is equal to ln x squared plus 1 all. Alaykum salam. This is the u. And the
Yes,
dv is equal
dv
to?
is equal 1.
Is equal 1 dx.
Yes.
What is dx? Okay.
So du is equals to 2x over x squared plus 1.
Excellent. The derivative here of ln any function is?
The derivative of that function over the function of some.
Excellent. The derivative of that function over the function itself is 2x over x squared plus 1 with respect to x dx. Then the integral here,
v equal to
is v equals to x. So v is x. And the du and u we have. So what's the rule?
X uv minus the integral of v du. Yes, so x ln x squared is 1.
So x ln x squared plus 1
minus 1
integral of x, which is v times the du.
Yes.
The dv is 2x over x squared plus 1.
Yes.
Okay. dx. Yes, Mr. Ahmed. As you see here, we have x ln x squared plus 1 minus 2x squared over x squared plus 1. The integral of, when you multiplying x by 2x gives 2x squared.
Yes,
so while multiplying here, this 2 gives 2x squared, and this all over x squared plus 1 dx.
Yes, we can take 2 outside.
Okay, so x ln x squared plus 1 and take the 2. No, why? Leave it.
Yes, we can.
You need it or not?
Yes, yeah, teacher, you can take it out. So
You know, if it's 2x, it will be an absolute value of the denominator plus c. But here it's 2x squared. So take the 2 constant and we have x squared over x squared plus 1 dx. Yes, mister.
and then teacher, we can make x squared over x squared
Oh,
plus.
x squared over 1?
Yes.
No, can. X squared over x squared plus 1?
Yes.
No.
Mister, you have to do the x squared plus 1 over x squared plus 1 plus 1.
Yes. Yeah, يعني we have to solve this fraction first.
Yes.
We write it as the sum of 2 fractions. So let's say
Yes,
x
I'm here
squared
for start. X
كيف
squared
يعني؟
plus 1
equals 1, which is x squared plus 1 over x squared. Okay, and you need something here to give us maybe minus. لازم يكون minus, and here x squared plus 1. X squared plus 1 minus
Plus
1.
1. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Again, by in details, guys, you know طبعا this one can be written as what? احنا كتبناها 1 plus 1 minus 1 over x squared plus 1, and it's correct. Why? Because this one can be written as x squared plus 1 over x squared plus 1. This one here. Okay? Minus x squared plus 1. So when you make least common denominator, LCD, and then add or subtract the numerators, we have x squared plus 1 minus 1. What happened? Cancel it out, and it's the same as the original value x squared over x squared plus 1. Right. So it's clear now, guys, that x squared over x squared plus 1, we can write it as 1. We can write it as 1 minus 1 over x squared plus 1. Okay. Nice. So in the question, for the final step here, in this step, we can quickly write what x ln x squared plus 1 and minus 2, وبعدين the integral اتقسم ل 2 integrals, right?
Yes.
The first one is 1 dx, يعني dx, okay, and the other one is what?
1 over
is
x
1
squared
over
plus 1,
x squared plus 1 dx.
which is tan inverse.
Excellent, which is its integral is tan inverse. So finally, we will write the answer as x ln x squared plus 1 minus 2 what? 2x. Integral of 1 dx minus tan inverse of x plus c. Our arctan of x plus c. Nice. Okay.
So it's 2 tan inverse.
Why?
لأنه ال 2
there is 2
times 2s.
This 2 كانت multiplied بيها. طيب هنا 2 also. So it's 2. Oh. Okay, thank you. Best question ممتاز. Question.
مستر
Yes.
هتبعت الفايل كمان صح مستر؟
أكيد every day. Okay, now guys, let's move to exercise 7.3. You know 7.3. We're integrating trigonometric functions. Integrating trig functions are all exercises. I think that we have a lot of ideas also there in the exercises we must take.
بس اليوم بالحصة الثانية هيكون في competition ولا solving؟
إن شاء الله. We'll make a competition. شباب, prepare your pencil and paper and let's solve here question number 10. Question 10. We start from 10. I think that we solved from 1 to to 8, something like
solve
this
it.
before. Yes, Rafia.
So they are even, odd and even. So we can split them, right? Or no?
Yes. Split which one of them? All of them or one of them?
What?
Split both of them or split only the one that has an odd exponent?
I think. The
Yes.
odd only.
We will split the odd only, yes.
So it will be sine squared sine x, integral sine squared sine x.
The integral of sine squared times sine
yes,
x.
sine
حلو.
x.
يعني حلو جدا. يعني we split here the sine cubed into 2 parts or 2 factors, sine x and sine squared. And cosine squared,
To be u equal.
leave it the same. Cosine squared x
leave
dx.
it.
ماشي. The u
U is sine squared x. Or
no.
sine
You
squared
split,
x.
Rafi, you split off sine, right? Take the other one as u, cosine.
Sine.
Yeah, you split the sine. يبقى اروح اخد u as التاني الكوساين. حلو. The du
du is equal to sine. Du is
what's the derivative of cosine?
sine.
Negative sine.
And
The derivative of cosine, negative sine. And the integral of sine is negative cosine.
okay.
طيب.
So it will be dx equal du over negative sine x. So,
Yes.
So equal integral.
Use the relevant identity.
Yes, so sine squared x times times u
Times sine x
times
and
sine x times u
times u كم? u squared. Yes, because the cosine is only u. So the cosine squared is u squared times the dx, which is du over
negative sine x.
Negative sine x. Right.
So
Cross out.
because of the x and a x and x sine x,
Sine x with the sine x. And then you have the integral of sine squared x. We can write it. لا يا رافي, write its relevant identity. يعني خليها in terms of cosine. We can replace it by what?
مستر أظن 1 minus cosine square x.
Yes, exactly. 1 minus cosine squared x multiplied by u squared du. And there is negative. راح فين? The negative will be here.
Okay.
Outside the integral. Yes, Raf. Also, we can cancel the cosine and rewrite it as negative the integral of 1 minus
1 minus u squared times
u squared du.
Then we can multiply them, expand them, I think.
أيوة.
It will be equal negative integral 1 u squared minus u to the power 4.
Yes, du.
Du.
Which is equal to?
Equal x.
عادي integrate عادي. Negative integral of u to the power of 3 to
Okay. Negative u to the power 3 over 3.
Yes.
Minus u to the power 5 over 5. Du plus c.
So it's a negative. دخل negative inside.
So negative u to the power 3 over 3 plus.
And the u was what? Cosine, right?
Yes.
It's cosine. طيب. So we can say here خلاص إن هي cosine cubed x minus 1 over 5 cosine to the power of 5x plus the c. Right. Very good. Nice, Yarov. طيب. This one is easy. Okay, and we solved it like this one before. And here's another practice, guys, of how to solve this kind of questions, the products of sine and cosine. This was question number 10. اوكي اللي احنا هنحله كلاس ورك هنحطه باليد. Yes, now stick number 14. Number 14. Number 12 first and then number 14. Number 12 we have both of them are even. Number 12 14 who can solve it يا شباب؟ Yes. Yes. The integral of sine squared x cosine to the power of 4x dx. Yes, yeah. Shabab, wake up. Who can solve here this question? Yes, yeah. Nidal. Answer. Nidal. So sine squared x cosine to the power of 4x. So both of them here are even. يعني exponents are even. Exponent of sine is even. يعني 2. Exponent of cosine also is even, which is 4. So how to solve here? I have to split which one of them. I have to write مثلا cosine to the power of 4 and leave sine squared.
Sir, can I solve?
Usama? Okay,
Yes.
يلا.
Mr. First of all, rewrite.
Where is Nadal? U equal?
Wait, Mr. Before you. Yes, cosine x, Mr. No. First of all, cosine 4x, write it cosine squared x to the power of 2. And then sine squared x, rewrite it as half minus half cosine 2x. Will cosine squared x, rewrite it as half plus cosine 2x.
Okay, so step by step, let's write here sine squared x, and this cosine to the power of 4, we will write it as cosine squared x, this all to the power of 2 dx. Use the relevant identities. So we said, guys, before.
Sine squared x is half minus half cosine 2x. Or 1 minus cosine 2x.
1 minus cosine 2x.
2x.
All
And
to the
cosine
power
squared x. لا بدون شيء بس أصلا.
Okay,
cosine
times.
squared x is half.
Is half into 1
plus cosine 2x.
Cosine 2x.
Yes, so Mr. We can take 1 over 8 outside.
But this one is all squared.
Squared, yes. We can
this
take
only.
1 out of 8 outside. Right? عشان تعمل سكوير الهاف تضربها بالهاف الثاني وبتطلعها برا. Hello.
Sorry.
We can take 1 out of 8, 1 over 8 outside.
Here is dx.
Yes.
We will take half common factor. You remember when we talk half common factor? But this half square this one.
وبعدين multiplied by that, so it's going to be 1 over 8.
Excellent. Not 1 over 16 like the previous one.
Yes, the previous one were both squared.
Both are squared. So again, guys, you know, half from here, this half will power 2 يعني quarter times this half gives 1 over 8. Take it as a constant first.
Yes.
And then the integral of
1 minus cosine 2x multiplied
1
by
minus cosine. 1 minus cosine 2x multiplied by
1 plus cosine 2x squared.
1 cosine 2x all to the power of 2. Yes, dx.
Then I forgot. Do we expand? I don't think we expand. We do something else.
If we use the what? Difference of 2 squares. So let's write it as 1 minus cosine 2x.
2x. Okay.
Okay. Multiplied by 1 plus cosine 2x. Multiplied by 1 minus plus cosine 2x.
Yes.
dx. Use one of them. يعني here. We can write it as the difference of 2 squares.
Yes.
Yes. Which is?
It's gonna be 1 minus cosine 2x squared. Right?
معلش 1 minute.
Okay.
Yes. Here it's 1 over 8. And then the integral of 1 minus cosine 2x all squared.
Yes. And
then again, the same. What we did, nothing. And then 1 plus, it's the same. يعني kind of squaring 1 plus 2 cosine 2x. Now it's 1 minus cosine 2x. So I think here, لا مفر من expansion. We have to expand first and then multiply.
Okay. expanding I don't think it's gonna be too difficult. طيب
Yes. It will not be يعني
yes
a
لأنه
very
حيكون في
large
cancellation.
expression.
Let's expand the
Yes.
square first أسهل.
So
بعدين
I will
expand.
yeah يعني you prefer to leave it like this? No need for this step.
ايوه بس
Okay,
خلاص بس
so
نعمل
let me
expand the square
let
وبعدين
me
نضربها.
cancel and cancel also this step and let me Usama to expand. Leave this one minus cosine 2x
Yes.
and expand this part
It's
only
gonna be
to reduce your steps. Yes.
1 plus 2 cosine 2x plus cosine squared 2x.
Cosine squared 2x.
Yes, and now multiply it by that one. So
Yes.
أول شيء it's going to be the same number اللي هو بال1 اللي 1 plus 2 cosine 2x plus cosine squared x عشان ال1.
1 minute please. It's 1 plus 2 cosine 2x plus cosine squared 2x.
Yes, and then minus cosine 2x.
Minus cosine 2x.
Then minus 2 cosine squared x.
Here minus cosine squared 2x.
2 cosine squared x.
2. Yeah, here is 2. Yes.
Yes.
2 cosine squared 2x.
And then minus cosine cubed x.
And minus cosine cubed 2x.
Let's see if there's anything that cancels. Okay. First of all, 2 cosine 2x مع negative cosine 2x, it's going to become 1 cosine 2x.
Leave the 1. And
Plus
we have
cosine 2x.
2 cosine 2x
minus,
and the minus.
Yes.
Yes, which is
so the cosine 2x, yes. And then cosine squared x minus 2 cosine squared x, it's going to be minus cosine squared x.
Minus cosine squared 2x.
And then minus cosine cubed 2x.
And then minus cosine cubed 2x dx.
Now we can integrate each one alone.
Okay.
So it's going to be 1 over 8.
Yeah, bracket. And then
x.
integrate separately. X plus
cosine 2x is going to be sine 2x over 2.
Sine 2x over 2. Right. And here.
Cosine squared x, we're going to have to use the negative 1 over n. ولا كيف؟
Yes. Or you can replace it by 1/2 minus 1/2 cosine 2x again.
ايوه بالضبط اللي هي so it's going to be minus sine.
Let's write it here يعني half minus half plus half cosine 2x, which is the relevant identity for cosine squared 2x.
Yes, okay.
And then integrate the half will be half x. And
yes,
then
so
integrate the other part gives us
sine
1/2
2x over 4.
2x over 2.
Yes, so
okay.
multiply it.
And then this one we should use
we can
what?
split it. We can split it cosine squared x. لا بس هيك بتصير by parts.
خلاص use the rule here.
ايوه بالضبط 1 okay. 1 over n minus 1. So the rule is Mr. 1 over n minus 1 cosine n minus 1 squared.
Okay, so we can do it here quickly. separately كده يعني it's 1 over n يعني 1 over 3. Okay, and then cosine
1 over n يا صح 1 over n صح cosine n minus 1 so squared.
Cosine squared 2x.
X 2x yes.
2x sine 2x.
And then plus.
And then plus n minus 1
n minus 1 over n. So 2
n
over
minus 1 over n or n minus 2 over n.
لا n minus 1 n minus 1 عندي الرول انا حاططها جنبي.
It's what n minus
n minus 1 over n.
Yeah, يعني 3
so
minus
2 over 3.
2 over 3. Yes, correct.
Integral of cosine x.
Cosine 3 minus 2.
Cosine 2x.
يعني cosine 2x only
2x.
dx.
Okay, 2x
so this part
sine 2x over 2.
Cosine squared 2x sine 2x
2 sine 2x
2 over 3.
أو لا خلاص بس sine 2x over 3 خلاص.
Okay, cross out the 2 with the 2. Yes.
خلاص.
So we have to take this all.
Yes.
And put it here. This all and copy it and put it here. Okay, which is here should be negative بس خلي بالك في negative.
Yes.
يعني because there is negative.
بدك تغيرها. بدك تغير البلس اللي هناك.
Yes. So negative 1/3 cosine squared 2x sine 2x. Yes. Minus
sine 2x.
Minus what? 1 over 3. 1 over 3 sine 2x. Okay, because we cancelled out that one.
Mr.
Okay. Yes.
مستر هلا ماينس كوساين سكوير 2x مش عملنا الرول تاعها هاف بلس هاف.
and this all خلي بالك this is still multiplied by what 1 over 8 and this all
Yes.
plus c.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, wait Omar 1 minute. 1 over 8x plus 1 over 16 sine 2x and then minus 1 over again 16x and then plus 1 over 32 sine 2x and then again minus
which is more.
yeah 1 over 24
Yes, cosine
cosine
squared x
squared
sine
2x sine 2x and then minus 1 over again 24 sine 2x.
Yes.
That's the c. And sure this part here يعني leave it here. طبعا كان جزء من الكويستشن كان جزء من الانسر اللي هو how to find cosine cubed 2x. Yes يا عمر.
مستر هلا كوساين سكوير 2x الرول تاعها هي هون. يس مش هاف
Yeah,
بلس
this
هاف
one.
كوساين 2x.
Yeah.
هلا الهاف خليناها ماينس عشان في ماينس قبل الكوساين صح؟
عشان الساينز يعني it will be negative half x should be
عشان
negative
في
half.
minus half sine 2x. Yes.
ايوه مستر
minus
بقولها
half.
لك.
Yes. So here this one minus. Okay. So reverse quickly the final step 1 over 8x plus 1 over 16 عادي to sine 2x minus 1 over 16x minus 1 over 32 sine 2x minus 1 over. Okay كده مظبوط ما فيهاش أي مشكلة. تمام. So this is your final answer الحمد لله.
مستر بالله ما تجيب هيك سؤال يا مستر.
What?
مستر
Yeah, why يعني?
very hard. It is very hard.
I have to bring one like this because the whole lesson is talking about this idea يعني. And I هعمل skip للسن كامل.
عادي مستر. محدش بيحب اللسن.
طيب number 18. We have 4 minutes left. Let's here try question number 18. Question 18 we can solve it by using identities. Using identities directly. We have here sine squared and cosine squared. نفكرها sine only x over 2 and cosine x over 2.
هتطول يا مستر فخلص الحصة الجاية.
So sine x over 2, you know, and cosine x over 2. It's related with what, guys? Is equal to, you know, sine 2x?
Yes, 2
Yeah,
cosine
equal
x cosine x.
2 sine x cosine x.
Also,
Right.
so you can split them up into sine x cosine x.
So only
squared.
sine x equal sine x over 2 cosine x over 2. يعني when it's a sine only x equal sine x. طيب if we say sine squared x يشير دبل انجل.
مش ماشي بس الدبل يعني ممنوع تعمل ديفايد بالدبل انجل. It's not a normal.
لا.
عادي.
And also if you have sine 8x you can write it as.
بس مثلا مش إذا عملت ديفايد باي 2 حتكنسل ال 2 بس مش حتكنسل.
Not dividing by 2. Take the half the angle. Half the angle.
طب why did you
like
remove
مثلا
the 2? يعني ليه صارت بدل 2 sin x cosine x صارت بس sin x over 2 cosine.
لا ما بتعمل removing ال 2. 2 sin x over 2 cosine. And if it's for example مثلا sin 4x what's the answer? 2 sin
2x
2x cosine 2x يعني half double angle identity. Okay and so on.
خلاص يعني split it up كله squared so it's gonna be sin x
okay. So يعني we can write it as sin squared x over 2 cosine squared x over 2 or write it twice or
sin x
you
cosine
can
x.
write it as sin
x over 2
squared x over 2 cosine squared x over 2. We can write it شباب we can write it as what?
sin x over 2 cosine x over 2 كله squared.
Sin x over 2 cosine x over 2 all power 2
and then replace it by
dx.
sin x.
And then replace this all
was multiplied by 2 inside multiplied by half inside.
By 2 sin x only squared dx. So we replace this part 2 sin x.
بس هيك مثلا مش لازم تضرب 1 over 4 برا عشان
Why?
تكنسل. عشان تكنسل.
Cancel what?
ال2 ما انت ضفت اشياء هيك بس.
Yes. What we added only sin x over 2.
او مثلا نخليها sin x over 2 مش multiplied by 2. تصير
It
sin x divided by 2.
it should be 2 sine x over 2. So we have to multiply here by from the beginning here by 2 and divide by 2. Okay,
بس هيك مستر 2 sin x
2 sine x over 2 cosine, yes, the 2 becomes what? 4.
هو اذا sin x مستر اذا نبدلها بساين x اذا شوف اذا sin x is equal to 2 sin x half cosine x half if we divide both sides by 2 بتصير sin x half is equal to sin x يعني بس اذا حركت ال 2 you divide يعني على الايدنتيتي نفسها مثل if you divide it by 2 both sides بتصير sin x كلها over 2 is equal to our identity فبس بتحط sin x over 2 جوا
over 2
square
over 2
خلص.
yes without it
خلص
the
بس.
same.
ايوه اسهل بس انه بدهاش
Mm-mm.
برا وجوا
yes so what sine x over 2 all square.
خلص
So the same mister 1 over 4 the integral of ايه كده
sin x
sine squared x dx and complete
then
1
rewrite
over
it
2
as 1
pi over
half
2 write it as 1 half minus
half cosine
1 half cosine 2x dx okay equal 1 half 1 over 4 1 half x minus the integral of the other part here اللي هو 1 half cosine 2x is 1 over 4 sine 2x because the derivative of cosine 2x is sine
then
2x
0 at
over
pi
2
over 2
وأعمل substitute from 0 to pi over 2 we have 1 over 4 1 over 2 pi over 2 minus
Zero.
1 over 4
0
sine pi over 2 which is 0 okay
sin 2 pi over 2 بتصير 0
yeah and then also substitute by 0 so we have
zero.
only y0 sine 0 is 0 yes no need
so it's gonna be pi over 4 بعدين multiply by 1 over 4 pi over 16
pi over 16
yes
okay guys thank you
You're welcome.
and inshallah I will send the file يعني after the
ماشي.
fifth period or at the end of the day thank you شباب and السلام عليكم
thank you sir goodbye
Welcome.